Today, we are going to talk about what causes the phases of the moon. But first, we should talk about what are the 8 different phases of the moon. The moon takes 29.5 days to rotate around the Earth. What are the different phases of the moon in those rotations? First, there's new moon, then waxing crescent, then first quarter moon, then waxing gibbous. After that's full moon, then waning gibbous, then last quarter moon, and then waning crescent. Now, before we get to the real cause of the phases of the moon, first let's talk about a myth that a lot of people think. A lot of people think that the phases of the moon are caused by the shadow of the Earth. But what really causes the phases of the moon? The phases of the moon are a result of our perception of the moon's half-illuminated surface. The moon shines because it reflects the sun's light, but it only reflects in between 3 and 12% of the sun's light. As the moon travels around the Earth, the sun hits the moon at a different angle with a different amount of light. This gives us all of the different phases of the moon that we see with our eyes. There are 2 eclipses, the solar eclipse and the lunar eclipse. A solar eclipse is when the moon completely covers the sun, making the Earth completely dark for a couple of minutes. A lunar eclipse is when the Earth is directly in between the moon and the sun, causing the moon to darken in the Earth's shadow. Now that we have learned all about the phases of the moon, let's review. There are 8 phases of the moon, and the moon has a 29.5-day cycle in which it rotates around our Earth. Now for our main question. These phases are caused by the angle we see the moon and how it reflects our sun's light.